Today we're going to be looking at a pretty strange set of Mario plushes that were released in the year 2002, mainly in arcades and carnivals. The company that made these plushes were Play by Play, and well, they're kind of well known for making some plushes that look really strange. And well, a lot of people actually don't know about their plushes because the majority of their plushes release in Spain. So that's why it's actually kind of hard to find these plushes if you live outside of Europe, as well they were mainly just released in Spain and in some other parts of Europe. But yeah, with that said, welcome to a look at the play-by-play Mario plush set. Starting off with the first plush in the set, we have Mario. Now, right off the bat, Mario's face just kinda looks really strange. As his eyes are made out of plastic, and for whatever reason, his pupils are yellow. And at first I thought this was just how the plush was like sun faded or something, but it turns out every single plush is like this, and it's not actually sun faded, it's just made to be like that for some reason. And well, I have no idea why it's like that at all, as well, but it's extremely inaccurate, and just a detail that was never on Mario at all. So that's just one really strange detail that really should have never been on this plush in the first place. And well, his eyebrows and mustache are made out of this really weird fuzzy material. And well, 9 times out of 10, when Mario plushes have like a fuzzy mustache, it ends up looking horrible. As well, for whatever reason, basically every single company can't really make a plush that has a nice looking mustache when it's like made out of this weird fuzzy material. But yeah, the mustache doesn't really have any lumps on it either, just to give it some more detail like Mario is supposed to have on his mustache, and instead it's usually just straight. Which makes the mustache look even weirder than it already does as well, but makes it look inaccurate and just look really strange. And well, this Mario plush also has a mouth, which is just made out of some normal plush material, but this was actually the first design of the Mario plush, as well there's a second design of the Mario plush that has a wide open mouth. It seems that this second design is quite rare, as well I was only able to find one image of it, and it doesn't really seem to go for sale that often. But yeah, this is definitely a really strange design of the plush, and I think it looks better without the wide open mouth. And well, for the hat on this plush, the emblem seems to be made out of a felt material and can most likely fall off as well, but it's only glued on. And well, for the hat on this plush, it looks pretty good. It's only stitched onto the plush so it could fall off, and the emblem is made out of this really strange material. It's kind of like a mix between iron-on material and plush material. It's just a really strange material that I don't really know how to describe. But yeah, Mario's face is definitely not good at all, but the rest of the plush doesn't really look that bad. The overalls look fine in this plush. The buttons could get damaged though because they're only glued on and they're also made out of felt. His arms are kind of weirdly bent as well. For some reason they bend really weirdly at the elbow, and I have no idea why it does that as well, but it just kind of makes the plush look really weird. But besides that, the rest of the plush looks fine. But yeah, since these plushes were released in arcades and carnivals, obviously they came in a multitude of different sizes. And while some of these plushes span between around an 8-inch size all the way up to like a 35-inch size. So yeah, there's a ton of different sizes in between those two, and there might even be a few more that are just really obscure. And well, it's kind of hard to figure out how many different sizes of Mario there were, as well not a lot of these plushes go for sale. And a lot of the times when they do go for sale, they're mostly just the smaller sizes. But yeah, if you want this plush, you can look on websites like eBay and this international version, as well there's a lot of listings on this one on the Spanish version of eBay. And well, I also saw a few on Italian eBay, so just kind of go through multiple different websites of eBay from different countries around Europe, and you'll most likely be able to find them there. And well, for the second design, this plush has a really wide open mouth. I don't really know how to get it as well, but it just seems to be really rare and obscure, and I have no idea how many sizes there are of it. Moving on, we have Yoshi. Now, this was the first design of the Yoshi, which is actually really strange as it was based off of Super Mario World artwork. Which is pretty weird because these plushes released over a decade after Super Mario World came out, so I don't really know why they made a plush based off of that artwork. And well, they also made a second design of this plush, which looks a bit more accurate to modern day, but for some reason it has these light blue eyes. And I have no idea why it has light blue eyes, but on the tag of this plush it does have light blue eyes, so they might have based it off of that for some reason, but besides that, there's been no other times Yoshi has had these light blue eyes. So the only thing I could really imagine happening here is that Play by Play just based their plush off of this artwork that was on the tag. But yeah, for the first design of the plush, the details don't really look that bad. The eyes are made out of plastic, and they also have some felt pieces to represent the top of the eyes and also the mouth. And well, Yoshi's nose is made out of this felt material, which is only glued on, so it could probably fall off pretty easily. And while the rest of the Yoshi actually looks pretty good, it is kind of in a weird position as it was based off of a pretty strange piece of artwork, so it ends up looking kind of weird. But yeah, this plush only comes in a few sizes from what I've seen, as I've only ever seen 3 different sizes of it, so it does come in a lot less sizes than the other Yoshi. And well, for the much more common second design of Yoshi, in my opinion, it kind of looks worse in terms of details. As the face doesn't really look that well defined, and the eyes are once again made out of plastic, but don't really look that accurate as I said earlier. And well, unlike the last Yoshi plush, they actually gave him a mouth that opens and closes, but it does kind of look really weird, and it's kind of hard to see on some of the plushes. And well, for whatever reason, his arms are sticking straight out and above him for whatever reason. I have no idea why they're doing this. As well, just like the light blue eyes, I don't think Yoshi was ever seen like this in any of the artwork, and it was just kind of a really strange detail that they decided to add. But yeah, honestly, I prefer the first design of the Yoshi plush over this one, just because the first design looks more accurate from what it is based off of, and it seems that the second design wasn't really based off of anything besides the artwork on the tag. And well, this is also one of the few plushes in the set that actually has a confirmed keychain of it, as well, some of the plushes in the set have a keychain that are just extremely rare and hard to find. And well, honestly, the keychains are probably the rarest part of this entire set, as well, there's only a few keychains that have ever been documented, and not all the characters have them documented. And well, another pretty strange thing about them is that they all came in bags for whatever reason, which no other plush in the set came like that besides the plushes in the keychain size, so I have no idea why they're like that and why they're so obscure. But yeah, if you want this Yoshi plush, the first design will be pretty hard to find, as I've seen very few listings of it, and for the second design, it will be pretty easy to find besides the keychain. Moving on to the next plush, we have Toad. Now, the face on this plush is pretty simplistic, as well, it just has some plastic eyes and a string to represent the mouth. And well, for the mushroom part of his head, it's made out of a normal plush material, and the red parts of the plush are actually made out of the exact same material as Mario's hat emblem. And well, most of the time the head's actually really well stuffed, but sometimes it could get understuffed, mainly on the bigger sizes, as though sometimes it'll weigh down the rest of the plush and it'll end up looking pretty weird. The coat on this plush is just light blue, and instead of having the yellow outlines on it, it doesn't have them there, but this is because it's based off of artwork that didn't have the yellow lines on them yet. So even though it's technically inaccurate by today's standards, you can't really base it off of that, as Toad at this time didn't really have them there. And well, Toad's hands are actually stitched onto the plush, so you can't really take them off unless if you unstitch them, but obviously you shouldn't do that, especially because this plush is just extremely rare. But yeah, the shoes on this plush look really good, and well, but honestly, it's one of the better looking plushes in the set, mainly just because it's more simplistic. And well, it makes sense why they would do a good job on Toad, because Toad is a pretty simplistic character that doesn't really have a lot of complex details on him. But yeah, Toad is by far the rarest plush in the entire set, and it's very hard to get him, and when he does show up for sale, he sells for a lot of money. But if you do want him, you could just look on different eBay websites. Next up, we have Bowser. Now, Bowser is definitely one of the more strange looking plushes in the set, as though some of them actually look really good, specifically the bigger sizes, but the smaller sizes just kind of look really weird. But yeah, for the face on this plush, the eyes are made out of plastic, so they could get chipped and damaged, and just like Mario's mustache, it's made out of this really fuzzy material for the hair and the eyebrows. And well, sometimes it could look pretty good, especially on the bigger sizes, but on the smaller sizes, it seems that they just put way too much hair on it, and it doesn't really look that good. And well, for the rest of the face on this plush, it actually looks pretty good, as well, but seems to be pretty nicely stuffed, and it's pretty well defined. The inside of the mouth seems to be made out of a normal plush material, and the teeth on this plush could actually get damaged pretty easily, as it was made out of this really delicate material. And one detail that I don't really like about this plush is that the cuffs on the arms only are on the top of the arms and don't go all the way around the arms. And well, I honestly have no idea why they made it like that, as all they had to do was just make one on the top and just add another one to the bottom, but for some reason they just decided not to, so it's only on the top, which makes it kind of look weird. The cuffs can also get damaged pretty easily, mainly just because there's some iron-on material, and there's also some string that could fall off of the cuffs pretty easily. And well, for the shell on this plush is lacking a lot of detail, as well, but there's no really detail on the shell at all, as well, a lot of Bowser plushes have some extra detail that has like embroidery on the shell, but this one has none of that, and the spikes kind of look lackluster as well. As well, they're not really that accurate looking, and also they're just really big for some reason. And since they're just really pointy and big, they could get understuffed pretty easily. But yeah, overall, I would definitely recommend getting the bigger sizes of this plush if you do decide to get it, as well the bigger sizes usually just look a lot better in terms of accuracy. But yeah, sometimes this plush could look really strange, and it's one of the weirder looking plushes in the set most of the time. Moving on, we have Donkey Kong. Now, just like the Yoshi plush, this is one of the few plushes to actually have a keychain made of it. And honestly, there's not really a lot to say about this keychain plushes, but it's literally just the exact same as the bigger size plushes, but just with a little less detail, as well as obviously smaller, so they couldn't fit as much onto it. But yeah, for the normal size of the Donkey Kong plush, his eyes are made out of plastic and his face looks fine. Sometimes his mouth could look pretty weird, as though sometimes he kind of looks sad and other times he looks happy, and sometimes he just kind of looks normal. So yeah, it just kind of matters on which one you get, as though obviously, as you can tell, the quality control wasn't the best on these plushes. And well, sometimes the hair on the top of the head could actually go in front of the eyes, mattering on which plush you get. So that's one thing that I would definitely look out for if you're trying to buy this plush. Make sure you get one that doesn't have the hair stuck in front of the eyes, as well, but sometimes it just looks really weird. And well, the tie on this plush is just tied around his neck, and well, it's made out of a normal plush material, and the DK logo is made out of an iron-on material, so it could get cracked and damaged, and a lot of the times when you see this plush, it actually will be in pretty bad condition. But yeah, for the rest of the plush, he doesn't really look that bad. He's pretty nicely stuffed, and he's basically just in the classic Donkey Kong position that every other Donkey Kong plush is in. And well, I have to say, this is one of the better plushes in the set, mainly just because there's not a lot of details that could get messed up besides like the mouth. Next up, we have Diddy Kong. And well, just like other plushes in the set, Diddy Kong actually has two variants of him, one with the closed mouth and another with an open mouth. Now, it seems that the closed mouth version is just slightly rarer than the open mouth version, as well the open mouth version just sells for a lot more, and there's also a lot more images of it. But yeah, besides that one detail, both of the plushes have the exact same details besides the mouth, obviously. But yeah, one thing that's pretty strange about this plush is that the hat is actually backwards for some reason, which is on no other Diddy Kong plushes, so I honestly have no idea why they did that. As well, Diddy Kong was never really seen like this, so I have no idea what they based it off. But yeah, his eyes are made out of a plastic material, so they could get damaged, and the rest of his face is pretty nicely stuffed, and on the open mouth version, you could actually open and close his mouth because there's cardboard inside of it. And well, for the closed mouth version, just like Donkey Kong, the face could kind of look weird, as well sometimes he'll have different expressions mattering on which face he has. But yeah, for the shirt on this plush is made out of a normal red plush material and has a star on it, which is made out of basically the exact same material as the emblem on Mario's hat. But yeah, his hands and feet are basically the exact same as the Donkey Kong plush, but just slightly smaller, so yeah, they overall look pretty good, and they're once again pretty nicely stuffed. But yeah, just like Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong doesn't really look that bad, and it's actually one of the better plushes in the set in terms of accuracy. The only thing that I kind of question is why the hat is backwards. Moving on, we have Dixie Kong. Now, this is actually a pretty interesting plush to include, as though there's barely any plushes of Dixie Kong that were ever made, and this was one of the last Dixie Kong plushes that were ever made, besides like bootlegs, obviously. And well, just like Diddy Kong, there's two versions of this plush, but instead of just having different mouth versions, there's actually a completely different second design of this plush. And well, this plush is actually pretty obscure, and I've only ever seen one listing of it, so it just seems to be a lot rarer than any of the other plushes in the set, as well, it seems that it was made for a very short amount of time. And well, honestly, it just looks a lot worse than the original design in my opinion, as well, they just added way too many details to it. In my opinion, it doesn't really look that good. As well, since the hair is made out of the stringy material, it could get damaged pretty easily, and the eyes could also get damaged because they're made out of a plastic material. The mouth seems to be nicely stitched on, and the rest of the plush seems to be nicely stuffed, and for some reason she has like colorful toenails, which also seem to just be glued on, so they could fall off once again. But yeah, overall this plush just kind of looks weird. I do prefer the original design of the plush as well, but in my opinion it just looks a lot better. And one thing that's pretty strange about the first design of this plush is that the hair is actually made out of this really strange looking material. And her hair is made out of the exact same material as the Rare logo on her hat, so yeah, it seems to just be made out of this really strange material. I don't really know why they did that, but it could actually fall off of her head because it's only stitched on. And I have actually seen a few listings of the past of her missing her hair, so that's one detail that you obviously want to take good care of. But yeah, the eyes can get damaged because they're made out of a plastic material, and just like Diddy Kong, the mouth could open and close because it has cardboard in it. And the clothes on this plush are made out of the exact same material as the hat, and they look pretty accurate. And all the rest of the plush is just really nicely stuffed, and it has some extra embroidery on the fingers just to make it a bit more detailed. But yeah, I definitely have to say that the first design is just a lot better than the second design, as the second design just looks strange. And if you want this Dixie Kong plush, you could easily find the first design, as I've seen a few for sale, but for the second design, it just is extremely obscure and rare, so you could just look on international sites of eBay. Now moving on to the final plush, and also the best plush in the entire set, is Funky Kong. Now, out of any plush in the entire set, this is basically the favorite plush of the entire set that everyone wants to get. There's an obvious reason why, as well, he's actually surfing, and it's the only Funky Kong plush to actually have him surfing. And this honestly has to be the best Funky Kong plush that I've ever seen, as well, it's just really creative looking, and is by far the best plush in the entire set, in my opinion. But yeah, starting out with the face, the sunglasses could actually fall off, and when they do fall off, they just look really strange because he has no eyes. And for the bandana on this plush, it actually can't fall off because it's stitched onto the entire plush, so you can't take it off. And for the mouth on this plush, there's actually a wide open mouth that has some cardboard in it, so you could technically open and close it, but it would look pretty strange if you did close it and make the cardboard get damaged. And the teeth on this plush seem to be made out of the exact same material as the Bowser plush's teeth, so it could actually get damaged. And Funky Kong actually has a necklace on him, and this necklace could actually fall off, as it was made out of this really delicate material, as you could obviously tell just by looking at it, it looks very delicate. And once again, I have seen a few plushes missing the necklace, which is obviously a bad thing about it. But yeah, the rest of this plush is really nicely stuffed, and by far the best thing about this plush is that he's actually surfing. And the Funky Kong plush himself actually isn't attached to the surfboard, it's his flip-flops that are attached to it. So if you do get this plush, you have to make sure that Funky Kong's feet stay on the flip-flops, or else it will just completely fall off the plush. As you can tell by this image, this is by far one of the worst Funky Kong plushes I've seen, as not only is it missing the glasses, missing the necklace, is also missing the surfboard. So yeah, if you get this plush, you have to take good care of it, as it could fall apart pretty easily, as it's really delicate, and the quality control isn't the best on them, so they could fall apart pretty easily. But yeah, if you want this plush, you could easily find it on websites like eBay in Spain, and also eBay in Italy, and sometimes just normal eBay as well. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please like and subscribe, and comment down below which plush is your favorite, and yeah, have a great day.